This morning we were doing a force-on-force exercise. The squads had to maneuver to the Mount Village and then retake it from the opposing forces. So that's what we saw this morning. It's a force-on-force's annual COP requirement. It's also a requirement for the nuclear forces. So we based this scenario on a nuclear-related incident, and it fills one of our training requirements for the year. We also fill out several other training requirements with this.
Sierra 6 is Sierra 5?
I don't know. I felt that. I thought I got hit. Can you see?
3 coming out! 3 coming out! Right. Go right. Get in the corner of the building.
Some of the training in one of the scenarios that we have this afternoon is actual taking the things that they've learned, the close combat, shoot, move, and communicate tactics, and other scenarios that we've been training on this week, along with the convoys. And we roll that all into one, and basically it relates to our LF. What we have this afternoon is the LF denial, launch facility denial recap scenario, which is the meat and potatoes of what our guys do out in the missile complex when they respond to an alarm and actually encounter an enemy actually on a missile site, so we can retake that site. For our airmen and that, our airmen are trained as SARTs, which is a SART is short for Security Response Team. And what they do is they respond to alarm situations at the actual LF's launch facility, which is where the missiles are stored at.
You can't touch them after that. All right, it's civilian once that point. Even if we have shoot, move, communicate training going on right now, which is what the Air Force is going to for their ground combat skills. So right now everybody's getting used to the new commands and the new motions to go through with this. So this is kind of our first time actually running through the course itself. So there's 4 movement commands they need to give. They need to give cover, move, either forward or back, up or back, whatever they choose, moving, and cover if they need to reload or they have a weapon stoppage. So they use those commands in conjunction with the next team so they can move up successively and then bound back successfully to the end point. You still had a lot of rounds left over afterwards, okay? So really concentrate on that 5 seconds and then a shot. 5 seconds and then a shot. So when you do this correctly all the way through. All right, everything was good.
219 Security Forces Squadron, we conduct combat readiness training, force-on-force training, and heavy weapons qualification at Camp Grafton annually. So we're here for our annual training with regards to those training areas. Behind me you can see the folks getting ready for the land nav portion where they conduct land nav, plus they work on their team tactics and squad movements and hand and arm signal.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're going to go 150 meters on an azimuth of 81 degrees. Go back towards right, Jeremy. 06 302 21996. So what we want to do is we'll stay right here. We want to take this and looking at 2 Charlie and see if that's the postmark for 2 Charlie.
This morning we were practicing convoy operations, and it would be convoy operations that you'd actually see if you were to deploy to a forward location such as Afghanistan. We ran through some basic scenarios, one of them being a short halt, where our guys are checking their 5 meters, getting out, taking a knee, looking for enemies. Then we would progress on into a long halt, which would be anything over 10 minutes. They'd push out to 25 meters and get down to a prone position, looking for enemies. It's part of our required annual training. The scenarios that we have when we come to Camp Grafton, we come here once a year. This year we're wrapping up both our June, July, and August drill in one week-long scenario. So we get to throw a lot of different scenarios at the airmen. Training's going great. It's hot. It's been in the 90s. The troops are doing good though. They're really sucking it up and pushing through. Morale is high with the guys, even though with the heat. The training here for what we have in Minot with the convoy operations is similar. In Minot, in the nuclear enterprise out there with the different missile sites, we have convoys going out on a day-to-day basis, so very similar.